Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenna Rashipura. In the news tonight, while the learner-to-teacher ratio should be 1:35 at primary level and 1:40 at secondary level, Kavango East Governor Bonifacius Wakadumo revealed that schools in Rundu have an average of 60 learners per teacher. He made the remarks during a press briefing in Rundu last week, where he elaborated on how overcrowded classrooms have hamstrung the riverside town's education landscape. In the 2022 enrollment, the Directorate of Education in the Kavango East region recorded a total number of 73,767 learners, of which 36,832 were in the Rundu circuit, putting pressure on the existing infrastructure, he said. This is a clear testimony that the Rundu circuit has the highest teacher-to-learner ratio of 1:60 per class, causing overcrowding in classes. Now, the Water Ministry is continuing targeted efforts to address pressing water needs for remote areas in Namibia without a secure water supply. Minister Carl Schleitwein said the high priority for water supply security comes from the fact that no development can occur without water security, but it further emanates from Namibia's vulnerability to climate change and its variability as an arid country. He made these remarks during his annual staff and stakeholder address last week. Key intervention programs in the sector relate to upgrading existing water infrastructure, construction of new water supply infrastructure, improvement of the management of existing water sources, and enhancement of trans-boundary water cooperation, he said. Now, the Justice Ministry's recently reappointed Executive Director, Gladys Pickering, says that the ministry's staff must endeavor to keep morale up amidst challenges. Irene Marie van der Walt was there.
This is our official year opening. This is the meeting where we would like to set the tone for the rest of the calendar. Ministry of Justice, although small in number compared to other ministries in the Republic of Namibia, is one of the ministries with the biggest mandate. And I definitely, for sure, and I'm sure you will know why I'm saying that, feel extremely passionate about the mandate of our ministry, because our mandate and the outcome of the execution of our task impact on the livelihoods, the lives of ordinary Namibians, but all Namibians. It impacts on the rights of those who cannot speak for themselves. It impacts on the rights of those who do not have the means to do what they need to do to have rights enforced or protected. It is our collective duty, and especially that of the Ministry of Justice, to make sure that what we do on a daily basis contributes towards the protection, the fulfillment of the rights of the Namibian people.
The Dr. Abraham Iyambo Award was launched today. This floating trophy will be awarded to the best grade 11 learner and is available to any school across all the regions. Let's take a look.
Thank you so much, Deputy Secretary General. I want to ask you guys an honest question.
In memory of Dr. Abraham Iyambo, we have gathered here today at Highline Secondary School to give the Dr. Abraham Iyambo Award, a floating trophy that will be given to one school in every region, that will be given to the best performer in grade 11 in order for them to, for us to celebrate excellence. As Dr. Abraham Iyambo has always said, that action must be taken towards progressive education, and in that memory and in his memory, we have now given these trophies to the different schools so that we can also champion what he has championed for.
I don't do green.
This one's like a
I can't hear.
In our story of the day, we take a look at video game music going to the Grammys. Do stay tuned.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening@synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.
Whether it is the catchy chime of a cheap tune, the melodies of the metaverse, or the latest trending Super Mario Bros. Remix, video game music is seemingly boundless. Now, the growing popularity of the video game industry and years of advocacy from game composers will be reflected in the 2023 Grammy Awards as the Recording Academy announced its inaugural Best Score soundtrack for video games and other interactive media category.
Especially the quality is so good now. I mean, I think people used to sort of maybe look down on it 20 years ago, wondering what we do in games. And of course, not everyone's a video gamer themselves, but a lot of people love the music, even if they don't play the game. So I think as an industry, we've shown that, you know, there's great artistry and there's some fantastic music being composed for video games. So it's just amazing that someone as big as the Grammys have actually taken note and thought, you know, we really need to support this this industry.
You know, you see this kind of like over communication. That's definitely interesting. It's kind of like this.
In the last decade, games have become incredible and have immersed so deeply so many audiences and been a really interesting form of narrative storytelling where people can live in these stories and these characters for a long time. So the impact is really, really great. So it's only natural that now we're seeing these video games adapted into TV and films and things like that. It has this really big ripple effect into all of these other forms of media. I think we all know how big that impact is, but having the recognition of like an institution like the Grammys or other big things like that just show validation that what we're doing is important, that it's reaching wide audiences, and that we have a big part in affecting and shaping the musical landscape of, you know, our societies.
still have a little ways to go. I mean, you're not quite at the point where you see a piece of Final Fantasy, for example, programmed as a prelude to a Beethoven symphony. We're not there yet, but we're moving in that direction, especially as more and more classical organizations are starting to discover that there's a rabid fan base for a lot of game music. And truly, video games is one of the last areas where big, lush orchestral scores are being written these days.
In economic news, after the break, we look at how banks are helping ailing businesses.
We are back again with another
Generation
episode
Z
of your favorite
reaches
show.
scholars, varsity and the youth generation through zone, varsity and school news. If you'd like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact Zone at synergy.com.na.
In our economic news, government's sweeping lifeline for businesses from 2 years ago when the COVID-19 pandemic crippled the economy was reintroduced last week at the Bank of Namibia because only 6.4 million Namibian dollars of the 500 million Namibian dollars government guaranteed for small businesses was granted in loans at the time. It was declared that bankers should be more accommodating to stimulate the sector. At the event, businesswoman Amelia Schmidt, on behalf of the business community, outlined the situation at ground level to the highest leadership figures in Namibian banking. We are not through the storm yet. It's not going to be okay. It's not business as usual. We are still struggling to meet our monthly obligations. We're still laying off employees. We still need help, she said. Next up is the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 21.02 to the pound and at 18.79 to the euro. It trades at 17.33 to the US dollar and 2 Namibian dollars and 56 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Gold is down with 0.44% and Brent crude is up 0.61%, trading at 82 US dollars and 67 cents per barrel. In the international slot, we look at Turkey, who issued a warning on the consulate closures over security threats.
Namibia's hospitality is as vibrant as its people. Join the What's Cooking team as they travel the country cooking, chatting, and celebrating local personalities and the joy of food. If you think you have a standout offering, whether it's a restaurant, bar, pop-up event, or braai stand, get in touch with the What's Cooking team at cooking@synergy.com.na and we will be there to show the world what's cooking. Programs air every Friday at 4 p.m. on all the NMH Facebook platforms, as well as on NTV, DSTV channel 285, and GoTV channel 94 at 9 p.m.
Turkey said on Friday that Western nations, including the United States and Germany, had not given it any information to back up their assertions that security threats had prompted them to close their missions in the country. Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu suggested the powers may have been trying to portray Turkey as a volatile state when they temporarily shut embassies and consulates and issued travel warnings following Quran burning incidents in Europe. He said no matter how you look at the situation, the statements from foreign consulates and closing actions are intentional. They have made the necessary warnings. If they continue such methods without sharing concrete information and documents, they will also take further steps. Last week, France, Germany, Italy, the United States, and others issued warnings to their citizens of an increased risk of attacks in Turkey, particularly against diplomatic missions and non-Muslim places of worship in the wake of Quran burning protests in Europe. This week, countries including Germany, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Switzerland temporarily closed diplomatic missions in Turkey, saying it was for security reasons. We'll be taking a look at the weather shortly. Overcast weather and thunder showers are expected in major parts of the country, including Anana, Tsumeb, and Omaruru, while Windhoek will be partly cloudy with a maximum temperature of 30 degrees. Now, sunny weather can be expected in Keetmanshoop, Luderitz, and Adamsvlei with a high of 39 degrees. On Sunday, the rainy weather will continue in the north with temperatures ranging between 27 and 33 degrees. In the sports section tonight, we take a look at volleyball for all taking place tomorrow and some hockey news.
Sport Wrap is a daily show focusing on all sport news and current affairs. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact sportwrap@synergy.com.na.
Take a load off and tune into another episode of Brave Namibia as we take a look at both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. Brave Namibia is broadcasted on NTV Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. and oneup2.com, as well as broadcasted on the following Facebook platforms on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Republican, Allgemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and all Namibia Media Holdings pages. For more information, contact the Brave team at brave@synergy.com.na. Brave Namibia, for the ordinary and extraordinary Namibians.
We know that violence against women and girls is pervasive everywhere in the world. So now imagine a conflict breaks out, or a natural disaster happens, or a global pandemic like the one we have seen since 2020 breaks out. Institutions are often focused on addressing this crisis. And in conflict settings, some of the institutions that are responsible for protecting women's rights collapse. The United Nations and UN Women work around the world to address some of these challenges. We make sure that women and girls who are victims of violence access services, including justice, health, psychosocial support, and reintegration. We also work to address the root causes that generate violence, for example, addressing harmful social norms and masculinities.
For all the sports lovers, let's take a look at the sports news. Volleyball lovers will have a chance to be part of the action as teams from various organizations gear up for battle at Windhoek's DTS Sports Field in this year's edition of the Windhoek Draught Volleyball for All competition. Tournament Director Heiko Kesselman has assured that all logistics are in place, with the competition taking place this weekend. The one-day tournament will see more than 200 teams competing. We're all set, and everyone in the organization committee has been working overtime to make sure that everything is in place. Now, the MTC National men's and women's indoor hockey teams will launch their assault at the International Hockey Federation's FIH 6 Indoor World Cup on Sunday at the Hartfield Arena in Pretoria in Group A and B respectively. The Namibian women are also supported by Namibia, Namibre and Standard Bank. Namibia, 17th on the FIH World Rankings, will compete in Group A against Austria 1st, Belgium 8th, Kazakhstan 14th, the Netherlands 6th, and New Zealand not ranked. Group B consists of Argentina 20th, Australia 10th, Czech Republic 4th, Iran 3rd, South Africa 11th, and the USA 19th. The women's 9th on world rankings opponents in Group B are Belgium number 13, Canada 16, Czech Republic 4, Kazakhstan 12, and Ukraine 3. Group A consists of Australia in 9th position, Netherlands 2, New Zealand not ranked, Australia 8, and South Africa 14, and the United States of America. Now, France centre-back Raphael Varane, a World Cup winner in 2018 and runner-up last year, yesterday announced his retirement from international duty at the age of 29. If you are just joining us, we'll be taking a look at your highlights shortly.
Kom kuier gerus elke Vrydag aand saam met Arjougar, waar hy vooruitskouing doen van wat op die sportvelde reg oor die wêreld gaan plaasvind. Daar word op die naweek se top internasionale sportgeleenthede gefokus en plaaslike sport in Namibië asook Suid-Afrika word in oënskou geneem. Die kenners praat saam en huidige asook oud spelers gee hul mening en ons hoor grootlik sommer uit die spreekwoordelike perd se bek. Niemand weet met sekerheid wat die naweek op die sportveld gaan gebeur nie, maar iemand weet wel watter faktore die uitslae kan beïnvloed. Ons praat met daardie iemand wat weet, en soms word geheim ook uitgelaat. Vrydaande is ons in die tonnel gereed om uit te draf. Dit is jou Vrydag afspraak wat jou ingelig gaan hou alvordat die spelers uit die tonnel opdraf. Sport is ons passie. Sien jou in die tonnel.
We can prevent violence against women before it happens. It means tackling the root causes of violence, working with men and boys to end power over women, which is often normalized and justified. Transforming these root causes and preventing violence needs political commitment and leadership, laws and policies that promote gender equality, investments in women's organizations, and resources for prevention work. But prevention also starts with you. You can start by educating yourself. Speak out when you get a chance. Advocate for survivors' rights and always listen to survivors. Preventing violence against women and girls before it actually happens is the most effective way of ending it. So let's start now.
This is still Sunset News, and if you have just joined us, here are the news highlights. While the learner-to-teacher ratio should be 1:35 at primary level and 1:40 at secondary level, Kavango East Governor Bonifacius Wagadumo revealed that schools in Rundu have an average of 60 learners per teacher. He made the remarks during a press briefing in Rundu last week, where he elaborated on how overcrowded classrooms have hamstrung the Riverside town's education landscape. In the 2022 enrollment, the Directorate of Education in the Kavango East region recorded a total number of 73,763 learners, of which 36,832 were in the Rundu circuit. Government's sweeping lifeline for businesses from 2 years ago, when the COVID-19 pandemic crippled the economy, was reintroduced last week at the Bank of Namibia, because only $6.4 million of the $500 million government guaranteed for small businesses was granted in loans at the time. Volleyball lovers will have a chance to be part of the action as teams from various organizations gear up for battle at Windhoek's DTS Sports Field in this year's edition of the Windhoek Draught Volleyball for All competition. Tournament Director Heiko Kesselman has assured that all logistics are in place. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the Animate platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and CoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glen Rashipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.